Welcome back, guys. So again, another week and another set of icon SBCs, and I love this, to be honest. I mean, these SBCs, they have reignited my interest in the game. I mean, for about 2 or 3 months, I haven't even been making videos. The game kind of seemed dull to me, but now there are more stuff to do. The recent events were good. There is SBC, so more stuff to do with the market as well. And after a long time, I can say that I'm having a bit of fun in the game, and so yeah, that's a very good thing in my opinion. And guys, coming to the SBCs, another thing I would suggest, I would say, is that I'm doing these SBCs using the profit from the SBCs itself by trying to see the patterns and see now it's a third week. You can just check the 3 weeks SBCs. The videos are all available. Plenty of videos must be available in YouTube of different people completing these SBCs. You can just check them and get the idea what the pattern has been so far, and then maybe, just maybe, you could be able to predict a bit that what kind of videos, what kind of SBCs would come next week, the requirements, and then you can invest beforehand, and that would be a great way to make coins. We already had German league and all with its first and second leagues, and we had the Italian league as well, the first and second leagues and all. And the same way, it was evident that the Spanish league and the English league and all, the English Premier League and all, would be asked as well. And this week we got both of those. I had bought the players beforehand, so no losses for me. I haven't purchased any of these players now. I had bought them all before. And what that means is that the price at which I bought these players are much less than what you would be purchasing them for today. So yeah, this one is again pretty straightforward. Couple of Premier League players, thanks to top transfers, you can snipe them like super cheap. EFL Championship, again, this guy is like super cheap. There's EFL League One, and again, this one was he was around, I don't know, 10k, 20k for a long time. I had bought a bunch of him. I don't know, 30, 40, maybe I had bought a bunch of him, and today I used him in SBCs, and the rest I sold as. This one I must have packed a long time ago, but being a 70, I never bothered to sell him. It was pointless selling him, so I just left him in my reserves, and that proved helpful. Of course, there are other players as well from the league, EFL League 2 and EFL and all, but these ones I already had, so I just used them. And guys, sorry for the disturbance, background noise and all. Sometimes can't help it. People have been already asking me for videos, and I work in essential services, so I had to work today as well, so did not have a better time to make videos before. So yeah, apologies for that one. This one again, similar requirements, couple of EPL players, one EFL Championship, one EFL League One, and one EFL League Two. Again, I'm using most of the similar players. Bowen, again, top transfers players leading the way here. I personally feel that they gave us these top transfers and the picnic event to help us in SBCs, because it has been the way so far. At least I feel that way, and I genuinely believe that, because the picnic event was, it was not even an event we normally get. It was really felt like they gave us something to help us do the SBCs easier, because without these it would have been like super difficult to complete some of these SBCs. And the next one, the chemistry king challenge. This one we already had chemistry based SBCs for midfielders and defenders, and this one is just easier random. It's not asking for players, positions or anything, so that's where it makes it even more easier to do. And of course, in the next week I'm expecting maybe forwards, or maybe even goalkeepers. Who knows? Forwards would be a more logical choice. Again, I expected these SBCs, and for these chemistry challenges particularly, I purchased the Bundesliga rivals players when they were super cheap, especially those from Bundesliga 2, because the same event, same league, and many of them are German as well. So that's like super easy to get the chemistry in between them. Yeah, that's what we did here. Easy chemistry and another SBC. And once you get the required overall or the required conditions done, then you just need to just finish it. So we use the players whom we find the cheapest, like the 78 rated player we threw in, or the 84. They were just the cheapest in their positions or cheapest with their overalls that I could find. And this one again, it only requires 78 overall, but it requires 80 chemistry. So most likely you will have to use multiple elites and all. This is the cheapest one I could find, to use three elites. But those three, you can see they're all having 29 chemistry, because they're all from the same event, the same league, and the same nation. It's a very rare combination, of course, but I saw these SBCs, the chemistry SBCs on week one, and from week one itself, I bought these German players from Bundesliga 2 with the German nationality as well. So, guys, like I said, it's all about maybe predicting what is it that you have to do. So, yeah, another one that's kind of easy if you predict early, of course. But yeah, even now there are multiple ways. Like, guys, I'm not saying like this is like the only way to do it. No, of course not. There are multiple ways. This is just one of the ways to do it. The next one, the Pacific Pals one, these are a bit difficult ones, because some of these leagues don't have any elites even, and I mean some don't even have gold cards, or the gold cards that are available are like super costly. But yeah, thanks for the recent picnic event for giving this guy. It helps a lot in doing these SBCs. And again, this guy came out in today's team of the week as well. There was already another 77 rated team of the week card from the previous team of the week, not the global one, the previous yellow colored team of the week. That one already there was a card. I had bought some copies of him, but that card is like much costlier than this one, so I sold that one and bought this one instead. And the K League, that's another headache. The CSL again, they have some elites, but their price just shot up. But what you can do is to maybe wait a bit. And guys, especially the K League, the silver ones are the cheapest ones I could find. But I would suggest maybe waiting a bit, because there's Easter event coming soon, and who knows, maybe Easter could have a card from K League, and then that would make it so much cheaper and so much easier to do this. I mean, we just have to finish this within the week, so we can afford to wait for that, I think. This one, again, I have calculated the cost. I will have to train up those silver cards and maybe that gold card as well. I have to gain a total of 17 more overall points. So most likely train up those silvers, but again that would cost a bit of coins. It's the basic idea. Definitely use this guy, because he's from Hyundai A League and he can be sniped pretty cheap. Hulk was again super cheap, and I had him in my reserves. Of course, there are Chinese Super League cards as well, but the price just like it happens every week. The SBC came and the price just went up. This one, I'm going to wait just like I waited for the defense SBC last week, and I did it much cheaper after about 3 or 4 days. I'm going to do the same method here. If you want to finish this in a hurry, then train up those silvers, but otherwise better to just wait to see what cards the Easter event would provide, especially with a league popular like Chinese Super League that has a lot of cards. So there's a with K League, I'm not sure, but at least the Chinese Super League, we might get a card or two, and that could be cheaper ones, and that would just release us from all the headache of just training and training cost and all. And again, this one, like I said at the beginning, the Spanish challenge, we need players from the La Liga and the Segunda B. It is also, it's written as the La Liga Smart Bank when you check. So as you can see here, La Liga Smart Bank is the Segunda A or the Tier B of Spanish League. And here again, a super thanks to these two La Liga Smart Bank cards, Limones and Pita or Pita, both of them from the picnic party event. They're helping too much in these ones. And again another super cheap card from top transfers, and I just threw in this guy from La Liga again from the global team of the week. He can be sniped at like at 20k. Then again used couple more of those global team of the week cards. They are the cheapest cards we can find at that range. Of course, here you can maybe buy I already had La Liga Smart Bank players, like I said. I predicted that this SBC would come and I had invested in those, but those gold cards are always like already like 100k, and these elites from the same league, we can snipe them around the same price. So yeah, I chose the elites, and that way I managed to use the gold cards for the Spanish league and the other sports as well, which are like super cheap. So guys, it's always about how we can do the SBCs without wasting too much coins. This one's even easier. Only thing was like it needed 11 players, so I just bought a bunch of cheapest 75 rated players and all I could find, and then again a couple of La Liga players again throwing in Braithwaite and all, because again he's probably cheaper than many 76 or 77 cards rated cards we can find, and again this one is pretty cheap as well. Yeah, and yeah, so we are just going to submit this one. There are some other leagues which hasn't come in these SBCs yet, and some of those leagues have cards from the picnic party event, so it would be a good idea to pick up a couple of copies of those. If not an investment, at least you can use them when those SBCs come. Again, a couple of tough leagues, the latest additions, if you remember, the new friends, these couple of leagues were the latest additions. They even gave us two new campaigns when these leagues were added: the Liga 1 or the Romanian League, and the Hero ISL or the Indian Super League. So again, I had already purchased these players, otherwise the price went up a lot for these as well. And the Romanian League, again, the higher rated players, their price just shot up. So that is why I bought these. Of course, I had bought elites from both the Romanian League and the Indian League. And here I'm just using this cheaper ones and then throwing in cheap elites as well. Even that 73 rated card from ISL costs more than these 87 rated cards. That's the thing with supply and demand. And yeah, I had purchased the elites from both these leagues in advance, but when I calculated I found out that the better idea would be to sell them and use the gold cards in SBCs. Okay, the last one, of course we skipped one. Other than that, this is the last one. Here again a bit of a tough one, and if you want to wait for Easter event to be out, that may be not a bad idea. Again this one kind of course, guys, I forgot to say the Romanian team did not have cheap golds. That's a mistake. I actually had to train up the 69 rated players. I had like 5 copies of Chetri. I bought for, of course, doing this event. He was super cheap back then. I bought him for doing. I knew that ISL would come also someday. And this guy again, he was super cheap. Just maybe 5 days ago, 6 days ago, he was super cheap. And I bought him as well a few copies. I don't know, maybe 10 copies or 15 copies of him I bought for this event. This one we need 83 overall, so I'm using these. In the previous one we needed lesser overall, so I did not use them. And again, Singh Santhu, this is not a tradable card. This is a card I took from completing those nation SBCs. You can use a one of those 73 rated cards and all, but then we have to train up a lot. That is why I decided to just throw him in. But anyway, I'm not going to use him. I have played against him. He's good. I'm not going to say he's bad, but not worth the cost of changing. I already have a trained up Donnarumma and he's lower overall, so doing all that would be more difficult for me. So I decided this one is more profitable. Like I said, guys, before, try to do the SBCs from the profit you make from those. That's a sustainable way. Otherwise, we would, unless you buy FIFA points, we would run out of coins doing these SBCs. So guys, again we have completed almost all except that one SBC that I'm just going to wait for the Easter event to be out, and once that's out I will finish that one. I hope it has the players I need. And if Easter event doesn't have the players I need, then I'll just train them up. Like I said, guys, this guy was I don't know, 120k, 100k, 120k. I bought a few copies of him. Again, Chetri was around the same price as well. These were some good investments. This guy, I bought him before the picnic event came. He was like among the highest overall players from the second tier of Spanish league, the La Liga Smart Bank. He was around 100, between 100 and 120k back then. Again, this goalkeeper, he was around 60k, again from the same league. If the picnic event hadn't come, then their price would have been like 300 or 400k. But that came, so the price rise is less, but still decent profit, of course. Again, Mitrovic from second tier of English League, I think, and Ragged from third tier of English League or EFL1. Again, Ragged was like super cheap, 10k, 20k, and now he sold plenty for 87k. So yeah, basically those are the players I sold. And yeah, Diego Castro, he's from the Hyundai A League, 77 rated. He was pretty cheap back then when I bought him, but now his price just went up a lot. So yeah, basically those are the cards that I managed to sell today. A total of 169 cards, and the profit, guys, the profit from these, that just pays for whatever is the expenditure for this week's SBCs, and pretty much pays for the next week's ones as well. And even last week I showed you guys I invested in the second tier of Italian league or the Calcio B cards and all, and the price went up and that profit paid for the SBCs I did. And here again the same thing is happening. We just have to analyze the patterns and hope that it doesn't end up changing those patterns. So guys, again, from nothing back to 32 million coins, and of course I will be reinvesting these. That's the way to go. So guys, thanks for watching. Bye bye, have fun.